Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sissy's Cards and Crafts. It is Sissy from Eastern Ontario, Canada. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Ontario. Eastern Ontario, Canada is what I meant to say. Anyway, so working with the Violet Dream Suite, this whole suite of products, you've got your stamp and dies, which is the bundle. Bundle is $67.50 in Canada, and the whole suite is $131.50. So along with the bundle, you get the paper, which includes this ephemera pieces. So many different little pop outs that makes making a card so very easy. And then you get these lovely little gems and ribbon. So that is that. I believe it's an online deal. What do they call it? I can't think of it right now, but your online shopping. So not just a catalog, there is the online products as well. So again, just to remind you, I just throw both into one envelope. So this is the bundle. It comes separately, your stamps and your dies. And I just wanted to show you something. If you are here in Canada and you know the Dollarama that we have, they have, oops, wrong side, they have magnetic sheets. They come packaged like this. I believe I've got them at Dollarama, but they might be at the Dollar Tree as well. But you can get these sheets, and I cut them in half, stick them on here, and then that's the magnetic sheet to hold those dies on. Works a lot better, holds them in, they don't fall out. The extra pieces might fall out, but we're good to go. So with this product, we have created some cards. And the ones that we created, this was the first one, and we used that ephemera. And it also comes with this sparkly paper, shimmering stripes, I believe. And this is the DSP, or the Designer Series paper. These are not the gems that come with it. They were gems that I had. They're old retired ones, but use what you've got, right? And then the ribbon, so pretty. And we backed it with just a little bit of gray that I used my homemade shimmer spray with. And I keep saying I'm going to do a little video on that. That is something I'm definitely going to do for you because we also used it on this card. I believe this was the third card that we did, but I sprayed the vellum with that shimmer spray. I don't know if you can see it there, but it's very, very beautiful. We also use the DSP, so you can see the DSP in there. And then this is, and I believe this is from the Blooms Boutique. Is that what it's called? Nope, Scalloped Blooms dies. So we've used this set as well. I just got the dies. I did buy the paper too, but I bought them 2 separate times. But we've used them here with our little sentiment pieces. I've also used the Blooms dies here, and then the flowers. This was a retired set, but I used a retired set for this piece in here and the sentiment, but I believe the one that I did on the video, we used the stamp that came with the set. This stamp, and I stamped it on the background. I gave that card away. So that's already been gifted, and this was watercolored, so we use that technique as well with our water pens. So great. We used a quick ephemera. We did some shimmer spray, vellum, and then here the watercolor. This was a fun fold, and I called it a tower. But it folds over like this and pops up like that, again using those blooms and then the flowers here. So very, very pretty. I've been really enjoying this set. And then we started the box cards. So I've been doing box cards with every set. This one just lent itself so beautifully to this set. So I did this box card here, and we got part of the way through it, and we were at an hour, and I'm like, yeah, we gotta cut this short. So we're going to pick up from where we left off. with this one. Now, when we did this box card, with all my other instructions, I used a 12 by 12 sheet, or because I wanted that 12 length. This one, I showed you how to do it with the 11, 8.5 by 11, and how to make this corner meet up and fold properly. We also use this die from the Notes and Totes. It's a retired bundle, but if you don't have that, and we also used an embossing folder, the wood grain embossing folder. I don't think that's the name of it, but if you have wood grain paper, and there's a couple out that are current right now, use them. But if you have dies that work, use them, or embossing folders. I could have just even used the full embossing folder and then cut strips out, but I just kind of like the way this worked. And if you followed the first video, I lost a little piece here, so I've redid a piece and put them in. And we've also got this middle piece here. The one thing that I didn't do was the fern here, and that is from, well, I had that set out today, and I don't know if I put it away or kept it out. I think I put it away, so just bear with me for a second. Got everything out here. This was the folder I used, so Timber 3D embossing folder. It worked really well. And then the Notes and Totes dies. Just bear with me. Why my squeaky chair now I find this. All right, so this was a set that came, the Beautiful Motifs, Gallery Blooms, Beautiful Motifs. It was one of those super sweets that had all sorts of stuff in it. It was beautiful. It's one of those ones that I'm going to keep. And one of the things I really liked was this fern die. There are some other gorgeous ones. There's this one that's like the Queen Anne's lace. There's another one here that's like petals. I can't think of the plant right now, but this fern die, and you see lots of fern dies out now. So if you've got one of them, use it. But we're going to cut one, maybe two. I've got an extra piece here, and it doesn't have to, oh, we can get it to fit, to go in the back here. Now I used the forest green, or no, shaded spruce here, but I'm going to try the old olive for this one. I don't really want to use the peaceful pine again, but let me just cut this here. Again, bear with me. Tell me where you're joining from, what the weather is like. Or you said that summer is coming to a close. We are at August 26th today, which is crazy. It is my daughter's birthday today, and she is not here with me. It makes me sad. I see that she's having a beautiful day with her husband, but she lives in Edmonton, so quite a distance from us. We are hoping to get to see her this fall. We've been saying it since spring, but we've had issues. Well, we had a death in the family early spring when we were actually planning on going. So she came home for that, the funeral. And then we had, the summer never really works well because of my husband's job. Other people need time off, so he tends to look around, but this fall would be nice. However, now looking at the price of things, we're thinking, can we afford to fly out? The one thing I've heard last year, my parents flew out with Emma my daughter and her husband, and they realized after the fact, unfortunately, they didn't get the opportunity to use the deal, but there was apparently most airlines give you a deal if you have a disabled individual. The person that's accompanying them can fly for free or a discounted price. I'll put a magnetic sheet in there. And then you just pay for the person with the disability. So I'm thinking, I know they've done that for if you're going for a medical appointment, but I wasn't aware that the airlines, and this was Porter, that was one specifically we were looking at, said they would do it. So I want to try to do that, but it's going to take some advanced notice because we have to get doctor's notes and such. And then we're going to have to make sure we can do that flight and not have last minute things come up, which tend to happen again with my husband's job. So hoping we can go see my beautiful daughter and son-in-law because I very much miss them. Okay, officially everything has been die cut now. So you can see that's going to be quite large, but that's kind of what I wanted for back there. Just to kind of to bring some dimension. So I'm going to glue the one down, just tack it in a couple spots. So I'm just going to stick some glue and just stick them down there so maybe the ends can hold up. And then this one I'd like to actually put a couple little dimensionals on, just again to give it some dimension, hence the name. So let's put this card together. So I'm just going to get the glue spots on this one just to make sure we can hold it down. All right, and I'm just going to let that sit for a minute. I know it's not going to completely dry on me. I'll be fine. And then this one, I'm just going to cut these end pieces here and see if I can get some of these to work for me. So yeah, if maybe you've used deals such as that. If so, let me know. That's not going to work. I'm going to have to go a little bit smaller. Or if you have any other ideas on how to, maybe save money. It's Josh is fun to fly with. I'm fun to fly with. I shouldn't. I think I'm the one that needs more help than he does, but he's got the ability to get the paperwork where I don't. It's kind of funny. It's not that I'm afraid of flying. I don't mind flying. And if I was the only one on the airplane, I would probably, other than the pilot, I would probably quite enjoy it. But my son-in-law, he is a pilot. And I was hoping the last time I went out, I went by myself, and I was hoping I could have got on one of his flights because he worked for Air Canada at the time. And he unfortunately didn't, or was it Air Canada? No, it was the other airline he worked for that folded. And so I wasn't able to get on his flight because the airline was no more. I can't think of the name of it. And so anyway, I flew out WestJet, came back WestJet. But when I was out there, I asked him, what happens if you get somebody really upset? Can you authorize through maybe some medical direction to give somebody some medication to help? Where did that just go? Okay, just lost that little piece. To help them get through their anxiety. And he's like, no, we can't do anything. He said, the only thing we will do is duct tape them to the seat, or not duct tape, like the ties, the zip tie them to the seat. And so I'm flying out there and I was getting anxious. And I get claustrophobic is the problem. And I see all these people on the plane and I'm thinking there's just way too many people on this plane with me. And, going through we're breathing all the same air and my mind just gets the best of me. And all I could think about was they are going to zip tie me to the seat. I am going to lose it. And they're going to zip tie to the seat. That didn't help matters at all. I was not a happy camper. But I got through it. I put my headset on and I just took some deep breaths. And actually, I had to go up to the washroom. And so I stood there. There was a stewardess there and a flight attendant, rather, sorry. And I shared my concerns with them. And I said, I don't really want to be zip tied to a seat. They laughed at me, but it made me feel a little better because I thought, okay. Now you can see that almost looks dry there. There's no white, but it will still stick. That is the amazing thing of this Tombow glue. And remember, we cut this at 4 and just under. So what I got to think now what our height was. So I know I have a little bit of leeway, 4 1/4. So I can just leave them popped up a little bit. But you can see there, I've given it a little bit of extra oomph. Okay, so now we're going to put our flowers on. Oh, I got to see fan. This lovely, not summer, but it's not fall, and I'm just hot. Remember we did these with the blender pens, not the blends, but the blender pens. And we're going to put them on here. So I want to do kind of blue, pink blue, or the hydrangea hue, the what are we calling it? Pale. Berry blush. Okay, so I'm going to actually put just a little bit of glue on the bottom of that one and the front of these ones. Now it's not a whole lot of difference because I'm just going to put this to the top of that middle piece in kind of the center. And then these ones are going to go just behind it. I'm just going to angle that just maybe a little bit. And then this one the same. Okay, now make sure you can close it. Everything's going to do its thing. Now that petal there might be a problem. I'm going to have to make sure I go that way because if I go this way, it's going to squish it. But that's the way I wanted it anyways. So we're good there. Might have to snip it maybe. Because if I move it, I'm going to have a gluey spot there. I'll just angle it a little bit more. Yeah, that's good. Okay, if I have to snip it, I have to snip it. All right, so that's those flowers. Now this piece here, I'm going to take this and then I'm going to do my blue blending brush. Remember I said I've got these blending brushes and I have kind of one for the reds and the oranges and then one for the blues and one for the greens, one for the browns or golds. So this, we're just going to get some our hydrangea hue on here. I'm going to make sure it's not going to glob. So always start off your paper and I just want to hit the edges of this just so it sticks out a little bit. And just get those edges. And you can see it doesn't take a whole lot at all to do that, but that's just going to give it a little bit of extra. And while I have this out, what did I do with those ones? I just had all my gems out here, and then I think I threw them all in. I didn't sort them out. There we go. You know, I really, really like the gems, and I always enjoy playing with them, but they seldom go through them all. These ones, I think I will end up going through them all, because they are so beautiful. But I'm going to take a purple one this time and put it on there. But I end up with so many. So I'm trying to find a good way of storing them. Okay, so now we have that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take a piece of cardstock, and I'm just going to cut maybe, I'll do an inch. And you can see that's kind of a slanted. It's not even, but all I want to do really is just stick a little bit on there. So this is my handle. Actually, you know what else I could use? Got these left over. Maybe I'll just use that. And then that actually looks like a wooden stick in there. I like that idea. Because these were little extras that I had. So either or, just the white piece works well, because that's what I was going to do. But now that I see I have these, and I just need something to kind of poke that down in there. So that's all I'm going to do. And I kind of want it so it can be seen. So what I think I'm going to do is pop it in there. And I'm going to actually use dimensional on the back. Yeah, the back or front, whichever one you're going to use. But if you want it, however you want to adhere it. But this is what I'm going to do right here. So position it the way you want it and stick it in there. And then that, my thought was it would go back behind that flower there. There we go. Okay. So now we have all these other flowers put together, like that little piece I was looking for. And then we also want to finish the flowers, but I had an idea. So the last time we did flowers like these, we put, we colored a piece of cardstock with Darling Duckling, and then we cut it up and put it in our centers. But then I had an idea, and I hope it works. Might not work. If it doesn't work, then we'll go back to the original plan. You know what? I never got the blue ones cut. I did these fairly blush ones, but I didn't get the hydrangea hue done. So that is to be done. Now, where did I put that? There it is right here. So I was thinking, what if we took this little stamp, and these come in a set of three. They do different things. Like one has just a straight slot that you could feed ribbon through. Another one has kind of one of those little, you know, when you go into a store and you want to purchase or all those things are stuck onto the you pull them off the top. Oh, why can't I think of it right now? There, is that going to work? Just like that? Problem is I think it's just going to fit. So I don't know how I'm actually going to get that to stay on there. If I just barely get any glue, like just some little glue dots around the corner here, that might be enough. Or maybe I will use the bigger one, bigger hole punch that I've got. Just the generic one that you pick up at the business supply store or dollar store, wherever you want to pick it up. I'm just thinking it might be a little too big though. So it's going to get caught in this. All right. How's that going to be? Is it going to work? Or is it going to be too big? No, I think actually that's going to be better. So go for this. I'm actually going to need 6. All right, so there's 3. There we go. Yeah, I just think that one is a little bit too small. It works, but to glue it on, there's going to be some concerns there, but it does work. So if that's what you've got, then you can make it work. All right, so then these guys are just going to go, whoa, it's a little bit much. On here like this. And remember, we've got 3 leaves and 2 flowers on each stem. I didn't even cut out the 3rd stem. Well, I tell ya, that was not the plan. Okay, so I'm going to put a large leaf there, a small one here, the medium one is going to go in there, just like that. Ooh, gluing my fingers. And then these flowers are going to go just like this. So that's how we want it to look. And I had too much glue on there. Now I popped it off with my hand. So I'll just steal some off that one because I put too much there. Oh, glue on my hand. Now this Tombow glue works really well, but I have seen where many people have just used the use glue dots, and that would work too, or apparently works quite well. Okay, so I need to do, I'm afraid I might be out of the whoa, that was close. My big bottle just about fell over. Big Yeti. Okay, so do I have enough on here to do this? Not quite. And I need leaves too. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, I do have a little bit left. Okay. So what is my biggest leaf? Yeah, if I have an inch, I should be good. I'm just overnight. This is the last of my peaceful pine. All right. So the next, I did do this. I forgot some cardstock when I went away, and I used the Peaceful Pine ink and blending brush to kind of make some Peaceful Pine. It worked not too bad. But if you have the paper, it works much better. Okay, so let's do these. This all cut, and then we will assemble and be finished with this card. I'm going to try to make this go as far as I can so I don't waste it. And let me just tape it on there because I have to transport it over just behind me. And there we go. Okay. Again, oops. At least it's going to stay together. Stick it down. Okay. These cards do take a lot of fiddly stuff, a lot of cutting, a lot of little work. I really do think that the box cards are the showstoppers. They look so nice. I know people that I've given them to usually keep them out for a while. They sit on their mantles or their shelves for a fair while because they just enjoy them. They don't even look like a card. I've been trying to work with a local florist and selling some of my cards, and she was quite excited to see. She said she had somebody that was doing them for her, but for some reason they stopped doing them, and so she found that quite nice that it was something I enjoyed doing. Hard to price them though, because there is a lot of work and a lot of time that goes into them, and maybe not so much there's a lot of cardstock that goes into them, but there's a lot of got so many different colors, and so that can, if you're making quite a few of them, then that's, what makes it a little bit better. But if you're just going to make a couple, then that can eat up your funds pretty quick. Okay, so let's put this guy together, and then we'll throw the whole thing together and be done. All right, just going to do that. Then we need our centers. So 1, 2, 3. Don't you? Oh, I guess I only need 2. Don't you feel like that owl that used to be on TV? Let's see how many licks to the center of a Tootsie Pop. Right? That's kind of what I feel like when I say that. Okay, I put a little bit too much glue on, so I'm just going to kind of just give these 2 a little kiss together here to smudge that glue around. And then put these on the center. And I'm just going to use my fingernail to kind of get rid of the excess glue. All right. Just dispose of that. And my leaves on here. And then the flowers. So with the colored ones, I used the Barely Blush 1 and the Hydrangea Hue 2, where I've switched it here. So now for this one, I want to put them kind of just behind the front piece here, and maybe set one back in. So I think I'll set the blue one back in. And I'm going to put my glue on the stem here. And you want to be careful that you don't put too much, because as we found, that glue stays tacky after it appears to be dry. So if you put too much on and it gets everywhere, it could hold your card together. If that happens and you're like, oh man, there's so much glue that when I close this, it's just all going to stick together, then put another piece of paper or cardstock right along here. Like just do an inch by 4 1/4 and just stick one right over the top of all those ends there. And then even do one behind the front, and that will keep those from sticking together. But if you just be cautious with your glue, you should be good. Okay. So that is just going to go there like that. And be certain when you place that flower, that's where it's going to stay. Don't put it and then think, I'm going to move it, because that will bugger it up too. All right, so there we go. And there's really no right way or wrong way of putting these flowers. Like, just put them in there, have them do their thing, and they'll look good, I promise. Okay, so I'm going to use a ribbon. And we haven't put our thing on the back yet, so I want to do my ribbon first, because I'm going to basically be covering that up. So if you measure your ribbon, and I'm using the hydrangea hue, you could use the Barely Blush if you want. It would look nice as well. And you'll find it a little bit easier if you flatten it as you do this, so you're not worrying about that. And then I've always said, you know, the bunny ears work best, and do it upside down. So I'm going to have this, my 2 little bunny ears. And if you need to get your reverse tweezers in there to help, then by all means do that. Or maybe somebody's got a finger that they can just help hold that knot down with if you can't manage that. But we are going to put a glue dot on there, so that will help. And then just fiddle with it. And if it doesn't look right, then redo it. Like I think I'm going to have to. So let's try it again. Make sure it stays square. I'll try from this side. Let's see if that works. Sometimes I can hold that knot better if I'm coming from the side. Maybe not. Totally proved myself wrong there on that one. Okay. There is another way to do this if you really struggle with doing this. And if this doesn't work, I'll show you. If it does work, I'll tell you. Okay, which I think I might have got it. I think. Okay. All right, I did. I got it. Okay, you can see I get a little bit of what's sticking here. There we go. And I can just shove that around. Hold it. Okay, so what you can do is just wrap your ribbon around, just straight wrap around your box or your card or whatever you're doing, and then stick the 2 ends together. Ideally, you want that under something or behind something so you don't see those 2 ends. And then just tie a bow and use your glue dots to stick that on top of where you join those ribbons, or the other side of the ribbon, depending on how you do. So I would just wrap this around, right? And just have one flat ribbon going around my card or my box. And then, oh, I was going to show you. And then just take your ribbon, 2 bunny ears. My fingers are not working well. Okay, so 2 bunny ears, tie, and make your bow. Fiddle with it so it works right, that it doesn't have any of those funky folds like I just managed to get into that one. There we go. Just straighten it out and make your nice bow. Then cut that off, and then with your glue dot, just stick that on. That's all it takes. You don't have to fuss and fume with it. Might take a couple extra glue dots, but you're fine. That will work. And if it saves you the stress and anxiety, then save the stress and anxiety of it. Okay. All right. Oh, I hear the dogs coming. We'll have the grand puppies here tonight, because probably for the next couple nights, because my son and daughter-in-law are at a wedding. My son's actually the best man at the wedding, so congratulations to the bride and groom, and I hope they'll have a really good time and enjoy their time away. All right, so there we go. Now the back, so we put the ribbon on. I could adhere it, but I'm not going to worry about that, because really this is going to hold it down. So the one thing I want to remind you is these don't match up. They only match up one way. So make sure you get the right way. Okay. And then what you're going to do is you're going to find where you want that to be. So center it if that's what you want. Okay. Like that. Sorry, I got to pull it down so I can see. All right, so that's good. I'm going to pull the middle part up. I'm going to leave that center part there, and then I'm going to glue this down. Okay. So I'm just going to put that there. So I know where that is going to land. And now I'm going to pull this part up, make sure that gets all glued down. And I'm going to use mini dimensionals and pop this up. A new sheet here that came out of a paper pumpkin, and a little bit difficult to maneuver when they're just, the sheet is full, but we're doing it. And then when your fingers just don't want to cooperate. All right. So there we go. That is another box card. Let me know what you think. Join in. And remember, like you hear from all of the social media YouTubers, you know, hit that like and subscribe button, share it with your friends, because, you know, that makes things much easier for me to have an audience. All right, so make sure you just get it in the right spot before you really stick it down. And there you go. Our little box card. They do go in an envelope. That works. I'll show you right now because it does work. I was trying to get one envelope out. I'll fold them and stick them in. Now, they might be a little bit thick, so I suggest you take them to the post office and get them. Now, that one might be a little bit high up there, but see how thick that is? So you're definitely going to need extra. If you didn't put the bow on there, that would help, but or you can do what I do. Sometimes I just put double postage on it and suck it up, but that is a lot because it's way more than I probably need. And if you really want to, you can get out the Link Estella that's fallen apart here. There we go. And maybe just give these little ones centers a little glow of silver sparkle. Just like that. Just to help jazz it up. That little guy. And this guy, he's kind of hiding there, but give him a little sparkle too. All right, so let me know what you think. Our box cards. Are you enjoying them? Do you want to see something a little different with them? Because they're all basically the same. We could switch them up a little bit. We'll see what next series of cards will be, and what I come up with for those box cards. But that's our Violets suite, the framed Violets dies and bundle, and all of the cards that we have created with them. And there's so many more that you could do. All right. Thanks for joining. Take care. And again, let me know what you think. All right.